Hello everybody, this is Adrienne with Ascension Soul Coaching. Today is June 8th, 2023. So I wanted to watch all of the coverage over Prince Harry's cross-examination in the courts this week before I did another video. I just wanted to hear what he was going to say and how he's going to portray himself. And I listened to all the commentators, but the one thing I didn't hear people talk about is the thing about the statute of limitations. Because I believe in the UK there is a six-year limitation from bringing a civil court case if you believe someone has done a wrongdoing and upon you knowing when they did a wrongdoing. So if y'all remember back in 2019, August of 2019, Harry and Meghan flew to France on Elton John's plane for vacation. Also, if you remember, Elton John had settled with the phone hacking case against MGM in February of 2019. That means 6 months later, he invited Harry and Meghan to his home in France, his vacation home in France, in August of 2019, where Harry coincidentally bumped into David Sherborne, who is Elton John's lawyer on the case against MGM. Does that sound like a coincidence to you? So here's an article where back in August of 2019, where Elton John gave a public reasoning for why he allowed Harry and Meghan to use his jet. Because, you know, Harry and Meghan were supposed to be, you know, crusaders for the environment. And people were getting on them because they took a private jet that was owned by Elton John to France for the vacation. So when they kept getting flack about that, and he came out, he made a press statement about why he allowed them to use his jet. Elton John quickly came to the defense of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle after the royal couple was criticized for traveling via private jet recently. In an Instagram post, the music legend said he was deeply distressed by the public's malicious reaction, and he also revealed that he was the one who had provided the couple's transportation in order to maintain a high level of much needed protection as they, along with the 3-month-old son Archie, traveled to Nice, France, home of John and his husband David Furnish. After a hectic year continuing their hard work and dedication to charity, David and I wanted the young family to have a private holiday inside the safety and tranquility of our home, wrote the Tiny Dancer singer, noting that he feels an obligation to keep Harry safe after the 1997 death of his mother, John's close friend, Princess Diana, which was due in part to overbearing paparazzi. The criticism came from the fact that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are environmental activists, yet air travel is one of the worst sources of pollution. So John also noted that he and Furnish ensured their flight was carbon neutral by making their appropriate contribution to carbon footprint. So let's go into the autobiography, okay? This is what he says. Harry wrote in his autobiography, Spare, that he and Meghan were introduced to an unnamed barrister by Sir Elton John and his husband David Furnish while holidaying with the pop star. And then we're going to read what Harry said in court. So this is from today's reporting, from yesterday's reporting in yahoo.com. So Laura Elston, PA court reporter, reported this on June 7th, what was actually said in the court. I'm going to read it for you. The Duke of Sussex launched his hacking legal action against the publisher of the Daily Mirror after bumping into a barrister to the rich and famous in France. Harry told the High Court he had a chance meeting in 2018 with David Sherborne, who was representing the Duke in his individual claim against Mirror Group newspapers, which is MGM. And Mr. Sherborne's clients have included Princess Diana of Wales and Sir Elton John. We'll just say that. Harry described subsequently speaking to solicitors to discuss the abuse, intrusion, and hate he and the Duchess of Sussex were experiencing. The Duke said, I think it was a discussion about somehow how to find a way to put the abuse, intrusion, and hate that was coming towards me and my wife and seeing if there were any way to find a different course of action without relying on the institution's way, which is probably the palace. Andrew Green, KC for MGM, asked him, so when did you first go to solicitors to seek advice about a possible claim against MGM? Harry given evidence on his second day in the witness box replied, "I didn't go to them. I bumped into Mr. Sherborne in France. It's in my book." Okay, remember that. The Duke said he believed the encounter was around 2018. So the barrister added, "So prior to bumping into Mr. Sherborne in France, you hadn't sought advice from lawyers about whether you had a claim against the Mirror Group?" The Duke said, "No, nothing at all." Mr. Green said it wasn't concerned over any particular article which prompted the Duke to go to solicitors. Harry replied, "No, I was never shown anything." He added that it was all contained within the palace, and even if I had, I wouldn't have been allowed to make a complaint. This trip was in August of 2019, not 2018. So you say, well, what's the big difference? Because there's a 6-year limitation when you can bring a case to court when you say you just heard that you were notified or made aware of a wrongdoing. Well, if you take 6 away from 2018, you come to 2012, right? And that's when the Levinson inquiry was done in 2011, when the report came out in 2012 regarding the phone hacking that Elton John and his group were suing the newspaper for, and they settled on in 2019. So Harry had to use 2018 as the date he met the lawyers so he could say that's when he realized he had a case because of Elton John, right? But if he said 2019, he'd be out of the statute of limitation, which he is, because it's already been written and documented in his book, in published news articles, and by Elton John in his Instagram that it happened in August of 2019. 6 minus 19 is 13. Well after the Levinson inquiry report was made. So he lied. In my opinion, he lied purposely, because a lot of people have been talking about this statute of limitation. Was he out of the statute of limitation to even bring this case up? So if he uses 2018 instead of 2019 is when he met the lawyer through Elton John, he can kind of wiggle his way and say it's within the 6-year limitation, but not in 2019. He's way out of the ballpark. I don't know if the lawyers are going to bring this up or not, and I hope they do. I hope you all put the news out there that he lied or misled the court. Here we go again with them lying and misleading people. They knew that that date was important. What day did he know that he had a case? What date did he talk to the lawyer? Because before he said, out of his own mouth, he didn't know anything about or had thought about pressing charges or bringing up this case, because he didn't really know a lot about it because it was kept from him because of the palace. He didn't really understand and know all the intricacies of the case. So you all need to understand, he is a liar. He's misrepresenting what happened, and he did it on purpose. Anyway, y'all have a great day. Let's just keep doing the investigation and listen to what he says, because it's not adding up. Anyway, blessings. Talk to you later.